YouTube. What's up, guys? Today it's just me and my girl Pina Colada here, and we're gonna talk about basically what I did to start off my reptile business, with Tiki's Geckos, and what you guys could do to, start your own if that's what you're trying to do. So, first of all, thanks for watching. I appreciate you guys, like always. You guys know that. Let me start off by saying that obviously my business isn't perfect. I'm a work in progress. I'm still trying to, make it as best as I can. But, it's a work in progress, and I'm learning as I'm going. But I figured, a lot of you always ask me about how I started my business and how did I make my passion into a business. So I wanted to talk to you guys about it. So the first thing I wanted to talk about is not everybody is going to be like business oriented to the point that they should start their own reptile business. Having pets is one thing, and keeping reptiles to breed and sell is another thing completely. You have to take in consideration the costs of your animals, the cost of food to feed your animals, the lighting, all these different variables that are going to make or break you. Basically, if you don't know how to minimize your cost and basically get your profits to be as much as possible, you're not going to be able to survive in the business. Obviously, you're going to put the care of the animals before anything else, and you should always do it because of your passion for the animals. If you don't have really passion for the animals, there's a million other things that you could do to get money. I used to be a realtor, but I didn't want to be a realtor anymore because I wanted to pursue, this dream I have of working with exotic animals and reptiles. And I said, you know what? I'm young, and if there's a time to, take a risk and start your own business, it's now. So that's what I'm doing now. And here's a little bit about how I got started into this reptile industry. But anyways, so first things first, let's say you don't have any money, you're starting from scratch, kind of like I did, you're just a kid, or you just, you have your bills to pay and you can't really afford to spend a lot of money on your animals. Well, obviously, if you're working or if you're not working, you better start doing something to save up some kind of money. And I'll give you guys a perfect example. Like when I was younger, I started Tiki's Geckos maybe when I was like 18 years old, or maybe a little younger. I'm not sure. I don't remember. But so what I did basically was I had a little job in the side, and I also washed cars. I just did basically anything I could to make some sort of money, and I started saving up. There was a point that I knew one of the bigger breeders was doing a big wholesale, and I said, okay, if I buy a group of 50 geckos at wholesale pricing, I'm going to be able to, keep some of those geckos that are nice, and then the rest that I don't want to keep, I'm just going to sell and make a profit out of. So what I did first was I bought about 50 animals that were, high-end geckos. I bought them for $30 or $40 a piece. Now, when I did that, instantly, I knew when I received the animals, I knew exactly which I wanted to work with, which Morphs, for example, the pinstripes, red harlequins, things like that. I kept those, and then there was a couple nice ones that I didn't want to keep because I didn't want to do that project, so I just sold them. So what I did was, the most important thing I would say is investing in a really good camera, especially if you're going to be selling online. Like a DSLR is freaking really important. So is a good computer where you could, do your work from. If you have a website, you're gonna be doing, what's it called? You're gonna be updating your website or your social media, all those kind of things. You gotta invest in a computer. You gotta invest in a good camera. and obviously you got to invest in high quality animals. Personally, I think it's much better to invest in animals that you're gonna like and you're gonna have kind of like you're gonna have a passion for working with, than just investing in a couple cheap animals that maybe they'll be much cheaper than, you know, a little bit nicer animals, but in the long run, everybody has cheap animals, and it's gonna be a lot harder to sell $25 gecko than, you know, like a nice $100 gecko, because people are always looking to get something nice at a good price. If you just are trying to get cheap stuff, it's going to be a little bit harder to sell, especially if you're starting out. So when I started off, I basically I was just, you know, I bought a bunch of geckos. I started raising them up. I tried to sell online in the forums. Back then it was the Pangea forums. Nowadays it's more of the Facebook groups. I started posting on there. I kind of just learned as I went. I, you know, learned how to ship reptiles through YouTube, and then I started shipping animals by myself. I started doing a couple reptile shows by myself, and here and there I was just starting to learn a little bit more, and all this basically, you have to be willing to fail. You have to be willing to, you know, mess up a little bit in order to progress, and you know, and basically do your all the little mistakes that you're gonna find along the road are gonna help you in the long run. But obviously, if you have somebody that's gonna teach you these things, which is always good. Like a lot of people out on YouTube or wherever, they're giving out information on how to run your business and how to, you know, get your reptile business going. Not even just reptile business, but any type of business. It all correlates. It's all very similar to each other. But so yeah, make sure that you invest in your animals. You invest in a good camera, especially if you're gonna sell online. You do your research. You make sure you're gonna know how to take care of these animals. And when it comes to housing, you're not gonna house your reptiles. That if you want to be a reptile breeder or this, you don't want to house your reptiles like you would a pet. You know, you're not gonna have to get it a nice, expensive enclosure with a lot of different what's it called? Expensive branches and, you know, and substrate and all that crap. You wanna make sure that you that you keep the expenses to the minimum cost as possible. So probably paper towels, egg crates when we're talking crested geckos or gargoyle geckos, for example, fake plants, and the glass enclosures are going to be a little bit more expensive. So you're probably going to go with like the plastic enclosures, the what's it called, the tubs that they sell in Target, you know, Walmart, whatever. And from there on, you're gonna start. By the way, if you have any questions on how I keep my animals, or if you're interested in seeing how I kind of keep and run the reptile room, feel free to check out my other video. It's called like Lizard Heaven, like tour of Tiki's Geckos, something like that. It's basically where we go over our reptile room and we show you how we keep our animals, and we show you a little bit of pretty much everything we keep here. One thing, guys, I will be answering questions, but at the end. I just want to talk a little bit about this. I want to get a lot of questions that people ask me out of the way, and then I'll start answering your questions. So I do see them pop up, by the way, so don't think I'm ignoring you. Well, I am ignoring you, but I will answer them at the end. Anyways, so if you're starting a reptile business, make sure you invest in good camera, good computer, you know, and your quality animals. Obviously, all your expenses from cages to racks, all that stuff is going to be, it's going to take you quite a bit of money. But once you have that, it's not going to be like a monthly expense. So it's going to be basically that's like a one-time cost, you know, for the most part. You pay it one time. The hardest part is starting up, and then once it's starting to run, it's going to be a little bit more, it's going to be smoother. One of the big things that I think helped my business a lot is the social media. Like you guys see here on YouTube, Instagram, Snapchat, I'm on Twitter, I'm on Facebook, I'm on all the social media, because I think if you think about everybody, when you go out to eat, or when you're just, even when you're driving, even when you're just walking in the street or seeing people, everybody's always on their phone, on Instagram, or, you know, whatever social media they prefer. So that's where people's major attention is. So I think that's where you gotta, you know, like kind of like promote yourself, basically. I do think that, you know, paying for advertisement on Instagram, Facebook, and I don't know if Twitter does it too, but I'm sure that is a good way to, you know, get some people going, get some people to follow you, and obviously putting out great content, giving people basically value for what, you know, for what they're interested in. Like if I was just here saying, hey, buy my geckos, buy my geckos, buy my geckos, I probably wouldn't sell as much as if you know, giving you guys some advice and helping you guys. And I don't just do it to obviously sell geckos, but it helps me because I'm answering a lot of your questions, and instead of having to answer every individual, you could, you know, with one video I could answer hundreds of people in, you know, in 5 minutes or 10 minutes or whatever how long the video is. So I definitely think it's really big to invest in your social media, especially if you're starting out. Invest in your, you know, learn how to take pictures, learn about lighting, learn about, you know, how to be very social media savvy, especially when it comes to like hashtags and all that stuff, because that's just going to give you that extra exposure, and it's important. Now, I will say this though, the first couple of years that I started, I was not selling very good. I was, you know, obviously I was still living at home, and I didn't have any expensive. I didn't have to worry about a light bill or a house bill, you know, or mortgage or anything like that. So that's why I say when you're young, it's the best time to kind of start your own business and start. You know, if you do have a passion for reptiles and you want to make this into a business, that when you're young is the perfect time to do it, because you're not going to have to worry about your expenses. And if you live at home, your parents are going to take care of all of that for you, and you could use that to your advantage. Excuse me. So if you once you start, you know, you gotta attack social media basically every single day. You gotta try to make some posts like at least 3 times a day. You know, I know there's certain times for example, certain times in the day, for example, in a Monday, there's certain times where people log into Instagram the most. So let's say like 6 p.m. That's probably when you want to make your best post. You know, you want to put the best picture at 6 p.m. because most people are logged into Instagram at that time, and most people are going to get to see it. Most people are going to get to like it. And then if more people like it, more people will see it, and it's just like a snowball effect. So definitely invest really big on your Instagram and YouTube and Instagram and Snapchat. I'm doing this on the fly, so forgive me. But so after social media, there's also the part of getting your business to grow face to face with people. You know, going to reptile shows, I found that to be really, really important. It's always fun to, you know, meet people that are, you know, in the same passion that you are anyways. You get to talk to them. If you know, you probably learn some things from them. I know I have. You could get your face out there more if you're, especially in the local community. You know, you want to be known as the person who deals with reptiles. Basically, all my friends from high school or you know, that hang around me, they know that if they need a reptile, they go to me. You know, if they want to get a bearded dragon, or their little cousin wants to get a bearded dragon or a crested gecko or a leopard gecko, they come to me, and they know that I'm the one who's always dealt with this. And since I have so much, you know, time basically spent, so much time invested in this, they know that I'm serious, and that, you know, that he's not gonna, Sorry, your comments are distracting me a little bit. I'm not gonna lie, but yeah, get your face out there in the community. Be local. Go out there to their local reptile shows, and you know, start socializing with people. Start meeting people, and that's gonna get you to another level. Okay, so I rambled on for like 15 minutes. Now I'm gonna start answering some of your questions. How good is my girl here? She's not even budging. She's just chilling here. So I appreciate that too. It's pina colada. And if you have any questions, you could start asking me now. I'm gonna scroll here and answer some of the some of the questions. So Mighty Reptile Strong is asking me, what was the first thing you did to start your business? You probably said it already, but I did not hear it. Yeah, so the first thing I did was I invested about like $1,500 in really high-end animals. I got them wholesale pricing, and basically if you have some money saved up and you want to start a business, you should get your money, invest it in a wholesale lot of 50 or 30 or 20 animals, grow those animals up and breed the ones you want to keep, sell some of them off for profit, and then just with the profit you make, invest it back into the business. That way it's just every single time that you're doing that, you're gonna have a little bit more to invest, and you're just gonna keep getting bigger and bigger. Like I always tell some of my friends, this is not when it comes to reptiles, well, when it comes to business in general, it's not a sprint. It's more of a marathon. So you got to spend a lot of time working. You're gonna have a lot of sleepless nights and all that stuff, but it's definitely worth it if that's what you want to do. Okay, when will you and Manny's Skinks be for sale online? So Manny's Skinks just gave birth not too long ago, maybe like 2 or 3 weeks ago. So we're still kind of holding them back. This is our first year producing Skinks, so we're not gonna sell them right away. And so far we only have 4. So I don't know if maybe we'll release 1. I know we have a couple friends that want to buy them so bad, and also Manny wants to hold 1 back. So I think that in the next month, we will have at least 1 or 2 for sale on the website, okay? Well, so that answers that. Let me try to see the comments. I know they are the list on the Palm Beach Repticon in July. Yeah, I will be in the Tampa Repticon that's in next weekend, and I will be in the West Palm Beach Repticon. I always go to those. Was starting up the business worthwhile? I mean, yes, of course. If it's what you like, if it's your passion, absolutely it's worthwhile. It takes a lot of work, and for a lot of years you're gonna lose money, and it's gonna be hard, and you're gonna go to sleep late, especially if you're working another job, and then you have to come and do your business stuff. It's gonna be really hard. But if it's what you like, someone like me, for example, I do not want to work for somebody else. I want to, my parents came to this country. I want to build my dream here. I don't want that sacrifice that they had to go to waste. So I want to build my dream. I want to live a happy life, basically. And yeah, man, I mean, it's definitely worthwhile if that's what you like it. Do you have Crested Geckos for sale online? Yeah, so real quick, I do my website. I saw somebody else comment this earlier. They asked me if my website was running yet. My website is running, kinda. I'm actually the new website is it's almost done. I would say it's about 90% done, so you guys could go check it out, tikisgeckos.com. But I will be adding new geckos this weekend. Actually, when I finish the YouTube video, I'm gonna start uploading new geckos for sale. So if you're looking for a crested gecko or a gargoyle gecko, feel free to check us out. My website, tikisgeckos.com, and we're gonna have a big sale. So that's that. Let me answer some other questions. Where can I buy blue tongue skinks? We will have some for sale later on. How do you take care of crested geckos? That's really complicated question, but I have a lot of videos on how to take care of crested geckos. Feel free to YouTube Crested Geckos 101, and that's one of our videos. Do you have a favorite crested gecko morph? Yes, I do. It's right now it's a lily white. I go through phases, guys. I mean, come on. Sometimes like red harlequin, sometimes pinstripes, quad stripes. I'm a big on, but right now it's a lily whites definitely. Do you have any big things coming with chihuahuas? Yes, I do. Right now I have my pair of chihuahuas that I just, that give me some eggs, but one egg went bad. The other one, I'm not even sure if it's going to hatch. I'm still waiting for her second clutch to drop. And I have a younger pair that's going to be ready to breed next year that is really, have a big white collar. It's just an awesome looking animals. But, yeah, it's just, I'm not as good with the chihuahuas as I am with the Cresteds and all that stuff. Best fruits and vegetables to gut load superworms and mealworms and all that stuff. The best gut loads are probably gonna be like the the sweet potatoes. You could use kale. You could use turnip greens, collard greens. Actually, in Walmart they have like this thing. It's called like a triple blend of greens, and they have kale, collard greens and turnip greens all in one, and that's what I buy to gut load and even to feed to my bearded dragon. So you could use that. You could gut load with carrots and all that stuff. Do you have any Saracens geckos? No, I don't. I don't have them at the moment. Never had them. Do you sell in specific seasons or year round? I have geckos available year round. I pair my geckos up, some in the summer, some in the winter, some in the middle of the year, because basically I just want to have something available at all times, and I usually do. This past couple months has been super busy. I've been selling a lot, and I'm really appreciative for all of you guys that bought geckos from us. So I'm a little low on geckos, but I kind of just restocked a little bit. I had some babies that I hatched that I grew up, and now I'm gonna post some of them. But yeah, you just gotta keep checking our website, or even message me if you don't see something that you're looking for in particular. What's the minimal weight for breeding a male crested gecko? I would say about 30 grams. 30 grams, 35 grams. Can a reptile biz like yours be enough to provide as a sole source of income? Yes, it can be, Peter. Right now, I'm not at that point. Like I said, this is a work in progress. I'm building my dream, guys. Like when you see all these videos, and if you guys go, a year back or 2 years back, you see how like premature all my videos were, and they still have a lot to get better. But I make good money, but I can't sustain a family with this income that I have right now. Not only do I, have my business, Tiki's Geckos, I also work with Underground Reptiles right now, and I do, I teach kickboxing on the side. So I'm just trying to stay hustling just to keep, my business alive and keep it running. My business can run by itself, but if I want to make it grow, I need to inject a little bit more money into it, invest in a little bit more animals, and hopefully by next year I'm gonna get a loan where I could open up my own shop and just breed all kinds of different reptiles and sell all kinds of different reptiles. Right now I sell a lot of different reptiles like bearded dragons, chameleons, obviously pretty much every kind of gecko, but I want to grow it more. I want this to be my sole source of income, and I still have work to do, but it's definitely possible. I have a lot of friends that this is their only source of income and they're well off. Guys like Brian Barczyk, Ryan Gitman from Underground Reptiles. These guys are Ty Park. These guys are the top of the top right now, and they're the ones who are basically like who I look up to, because they made their dream a reality, and that's how they're living on. But all right, enough of rambling. Are you opening a shop in Utah? No, I have a good friend in Utah that actually who told me that I should go to Utah, but no, I think I'm gonna stay in Florida. Hello from Colombia. Hey, hermano, ¿cómo estás? Yo soy de Venezuela, entonces gracias por ver. Do you think crested geckos can be kept in tubs? Absolutely. My crested gecko tank is 12 by 12 by 18. Is that okay? Yes, it is. Let's see some previous questions. How big of a tank would you recommend for a 1.3 ratio? I recommend, if you're talking about a tank, I recommend like a 20 gallon or a 12 by 18 by 18 by 18 or 18 by 18 by 24. Those are the best for a trio of crested geckos. Do you mist your geckos in combination with using a water dish? Some geckos, like the Lychees, the big geckos, I give a water dish and I mist. The crested geckos, I just mist. They'll drink the water droplets, they'll be fine. What size of tank do you recommend for an adult crested? 12 by 12 by 18. What are you doing with your fat tails, Brittany? I'm doing, well, right now I have a bunch of fat tails. Not a bunch, I have like 6 or 8 or something like that. But right now, man, the fat tails that I want to pair with each other, none of them are up to size. So like the female will be up to size, but the male won't be up to size. Or the male will be up to size, but the female won't be up to size. So, you know, I'm just kind of waiting a little bit on that. I was focused on so many other things, so I haven't really gotten that project going. But for sure, by the end of this year, I'm going to be breeding fat tails. Do you separate your crested geckos after breeding? You don't have to, especially here in Florida. You can, yeah, so I don't really separate my geckos unless I'm gonna switch the pairs up, or if the female looks like she needs a break, you know, that's when I really separate them. If the female's getting kind of thin, you know, I give her a couple months off, maybe a year or 2 off, depending on how bad she was, and they bounce back pretty well. Okay, let me go back to the bottom. Oh crap, a lot of questions. Okay. My crested gecko is 7 grams and 5 months old. Do you think she is eating enough? Yes, a healthy crested gecko is it's not going to starve itself. As long as you're feeding the Repashy crested gecko diet or the Pangea and you're feeding crickets, your gecko will be fine. Okay? Did you saw the new terrarium companies named Biopod, and is it good for your crested? I don't know what that is. I'm sorry, Jacob. I meant how many Lycheeonis geckos do you have? I have 4 right. Yeah, I have 4 right now. So 2 pairs. So hopefully I will producing Lycheeonis very soon. How many crested geckos do you have? Oh, a lot. Over 200. ¿Puedes decirme algunos consejos básicos para iniciar un criadero? Real quick, this is just a person who speaks Spanish. You want me to tell him a couple of tips, so I'm going to speak in Spanish. Anyways, si quieres empezar a criar reptiles, lo que te recomiendo es que inviertas tu dinero en unos reptiles que te gustan, que estás apasionado por ellos y definitivamente tienes que invertir en una cámara buena, en una computadora buena para que porque la mayoría del negocio va a ser en el internet, en mi opinión. Así es que yo manejo mi negocio, entonces es lo que te voy a recomendar, pero la mayoría del negocio va a ser en internet. Entonces invierte en una cámara buena, aprende a tomar buenas fotos a donde... O sea, cuando las estés poniendo en social media, en Facebook o en Instagram, la gente va a poder ver el animal bien y piensa, todo lo que vayas a vender a través de la internet se tiene que ver bien. Si uno quiere comprar algo en internet y no lo ve bien, uno no va a querer comprarlo. Entonces... invierte en la cámara, invierte en tus animales, invierte en una computadora y invierte en aprender cómo usar todos estos elementos. Okay, sorry about that, guys. My only eats a powder with water too. It's fine. Okay. My gecko only eats. Yeah, so the crested geckos and gargoyle geckos can live off of the crested gecko diet. Obviously, if they're eating insects, it's a little bit better for, you know, growth and development, but, you know, but yeah, they can live fine off of the complete diets. I'm in the Panhandle and I am looking to start a business breeding Cresteds and building custom cages. What permits, licenses do I need? That's a good question. Now, if you're in Florida, this applies to the people in Florida because every state has its own rules and regulations. But here, if you're in Florida, you're gonna have to go to My Florida Wildlife, Florida Wildlife, FWC.org or .com or something like that. Just Google it. Basically, you gotta apply for a Class 3 permit, and that's what's gonna allow you to basically sell reptiles and exotic animals. Now, if you want to, excuse me, man, I'm burping so much. If you want to build and sell cages, I don't know because I don't do that, but I don't think you need a permit for that. You could just, get them done. But yeah, if you want to sell reptiles, you're gonna need a special permit, and you're gonna have to renew that every year. So I think it's FWC for Florida residents, FWC.com or something like that. Just Google like Florida Class 3 permit for wildlife exhibition and sale. Hope that helped. Have you ever had a reptile escape in the house? Oh man, all the time. I can't tell you how many times I'm feeding geckos or something, and then one jumps off my hand and goes under the racks, and then it's like I gotta spend a freaking 10 minutes to an hour trying to find it. But yeah. Am I Jewish? No, I am not Jewish. On the Class 3, is a different permit for each species, or just list them all for one? Okay, William. So for the Class 3 permit, it's for all the basic reptiles, like crested geckos, gargoyle geckos, panther chameleons, all the basic stuff. Now, if you want to get into like exotic animals like monkeys or alligators, then you're gonna need, or venomous, you're gonna need other types of permits. But for the basic stuff, it's a Class 3 permit, and that takes care of everything. Okay, let me see here, more questions. How many times do you feed a Crested? I feed my adult crested geckos 3 times a week, and the food stays good for like 2 days. So if you think about it, it's like 6 times a week. And the babies, I try to feed the same or like every other day. Is a Reptile a good enclosure for a crested gecko? Listen, it can be, but you just have to. Reptile, it's a screen cage, and it loses humidity very easy. So if you gotta be on your misting, you gotta be consistent with your misting, and I would provide a water bowl. But yeah, you can make it work. I've kept crested geckos in screen enclosures before. Okay. Religion? No, I'm not religious, guys. I'm not religious at all. Where can you find the cheapest crested geckos? The cheapest crested geckos? I don't know. I don't like to say cheap, but you can find some affordable crested geckos at tikisgeckos.com. Anyways, how many times? Alright, on the Class 3, dude. Have you ever had a reptile? Yeah. How old do you have to be to get the license? How old do you have to be to get the license? Okay, in Florida, I believe you have to be at least 18. And if I'm planning to start a crested gecko breeding project as a business, what do you recommend for a good start? Are you talking about... Alright, so Capital Lizards is asking that if they're planning to start a crested gecko breeding project as a business, what do I recommend is a good start? What I recommend is go with something you like. Go with the morphs that you really, really like. I would say, like, right now, the lily whites are really big. The price is gonna drop, guys. Right now, they're like in the thousands of dollars, like $750 to $2,000. And that's because it's a brand new morph, but it's a co-dominant morph, so you're gonna expect the price to drop. But I think that people who get into it right at the beginning are gonna be able to make their money back and obviously make a good amount of profit. But I think that price is gonna start to go down because obviously it's a co-dominant morph. But you shouldn't do it for those reasons. You should do it because you like the animals. So just look at the best morphs that you like and just try to invest as much in those. Okay, it is okay if my Crested only eats powder without water. Do you sell baby Dalmatian crested geckos? Yes, I do sell baby Dalmatian crested geckos. I actually have some for sale right now that I will be posting on my website after I do this video. How long did you leave your country? I came to the United States when I was about 10 years old, and right now I'm 24, so I've been here for quite a while. Are you selling Cresteds to Tampa? If so, can you show us? Yes, I will be selling. I'm going to be at the Tampa Repticon, so I will be taking a lot of animals for sale, but I can't show you right now. You will have to go to Tampa and see. How old do you have to be? Da, da, da. I'm from New Caledonia. Can I take wild eggs from me? Because I found crested gecko eggs in my backyard. That is super, super freaking cool. Thanks for watching. Yes, you could grab the eggs and incubate them. You could probably incubate them outside in New Caledonia. Just make sure the substrate is nice and moist. Put them like in a container and don't put them in the sun so you know they don't dry up or anything like that. But yeah, you could absolutely take them and incubate them. That's awesome though, man. That's really cool. I'm always really scared about my Leo falling off my bed about 3 feet off to the tile floor. I'm wondering what were to happen, do you think it would get an injury? Yeah, leopard geckos are terrestrial animals, so they can't really take those big falls. Now, something like a crested gecko will probably fall and have no problem, but I would just say handle your gecko, your leopard gecko in the floor so it doesn't fall. Is it good to overfeed a lychee? No. No reptile is good to overfeed. Now, babies, you want to provide food at all times, you know, and they're not really gonna, babies and juveniles, they're just gonna eat as much as they can and they're gonna keep growing. But once they're adult sizes, it's not good to overfeed any geckos or reptiles, because then you're gonna cut their life shorter. Just like humans, you know, you don't want to be an obese human, you don't want to be an obese reptile. It's gonna cut your life short. I mean, it's gonna cut the reptile's life shorter, and the production. Like fat crested gecko females aren't the best producers, and neither are any other species, basically. How often do you feed your cresteds insects, and what insects? I feed my crested geckos, like the breeders, crickets, maybe like twice every 2 weeks, or roaches. And I think the best feeders are crickets and roaches. You just gotta, you know, gut load them and stuff. Okay, let's go to the bottom. I'm gonna answer a couple more questions. I'm already at 37 minutes. Crap. All right. My crested doesn't have sticky feet. Is that okay? Your crested probably is going through a shed, or has like dried up food in its feet. So if you're having problems, check out my other video that says stuck shed, no problem. That's one of my videos. It says like the title is stuck shed, no problem, or something like that. Watch that video and that will help you. If not, just message me on the side and I can help you out. Okay, show us your largest cresty. I'll show you later. Ollie, yes, that's fine. Just make sure. How's Manny? Manny is good. He's probably watching the soccer game right now. But he's good. Do you sell bright red crested geckos? Yes, I sell all kinds of crested gecko, guys. Why my crested gecko don't like Rapashi? Yeah, Rapashi and Pangea, sometimes if you serve too much, you're not gonna see the indentations of the food of the crested gecko eating, but they are eating it, guys. They're not gonna starve themselves. Okay, let me take like 3 more questions and then I'm gonna end this. And then I'm gonna end the live stream. Okay. Do you ever go to reptile shows out of Florida? Not to vend. This year I will be going to Tinley Park. Tinley Park in Chicago. Tinley Park, NARBC in Chicago, one of the biggest shows of the country. I will be there this year, but I'll just be hanging out so you guys can come up and say what's up. But no, I don't really do reptile shows outside of Florida. Maybe in the future. Oh crap, hold on. Alright, 2 more questions. I'm from New Caledonia, and can I take... Oh yeah, I answered that already. How is kale and bananas for bearded dragons? I've heard they are calcium binders and can cause MBD. That's a good question, Luke. So Luke is asking how kale and banana, are they calcium binders? What that means is basically it doesn't let the animal absorb as much calcium as possible. Now, I know kale, I think kale is, I know spinach is a calcium binder. I'm not sure about bananas, but you don't ever want to feed that as a staple diet. You want to mix that in with other vegetables or give it to them like one day out of the week and they'll be fine. But yeah, definitely the green, let's say for a bearded dragon, the best greens would be like the romaine lettuce, collard greens, turnip greens. Then you can mix in a little bit of kale maybe once a week, some carrots, things like that. But yeah, some like spinach and kale are calcium binders. I'm not sure about bananas. So you don't want to feed that every day, and you don't want to gut load that all the time, because then your crickets aren't going to be, you know, what you put into your crickets eventually is going to get back to your bearded dragon. So just keep that in mind and vary with your gut loading and your feeding. Okay, last question. I have a 25-gram crested gecko and she jumps a lot. Would she calm down a lot? Oh, sorry, would she calm down sometimes? I'm retarded right now. I tried handling every other day for at least 10 minutes to 15 minutes. Yeah, just keep doing what you're doing. Handle for like 10-15 minutes every 2 or 3 days. They do calm down a lot more when they get to adult size, but just try to stay relaxed when you handle them. For some reason, I think, you know, these animals can kind of sense when you're nervous and it makes them nervous. So yeah. Okay, last question. If you don't post certain geckos we are looking for on the web, how do we look for them or let you know? Gecko Jeff. So I'm gonna try to post as much as I can today, but obviously I might not get to post everything, so you could just send me an email or send me a message on Instagram or Facebook. Just search Tiki's Geckos, and I will, you know, I will tell you if I have the gecko you're looking for. But I'm gonna try to post everything I have on the on the website, and you guys are gonna be able to see exactly what's available there. So, you know, check that out. Like tonight when I'm done posting. I keep saying one more question, but yeah. Alright guys, so thanks for watching. This is probably the longest YouTube live I've ever done. Thanks for all the questions. I know I didn't answer a lot of you, but if it's a really serious question, feel free to message me on, like I said, Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, all that crap. I'm Tiki's Geckos, so just search me. I appreciate every single one of you guys. Thanks for allowing me to do what I do, and I hope you found this video informative, and I hope that it helps you guys that want to start your own, you know, reptile business. I know some of my advice was a little bit, you know, it's just I'm jumping from subject to subject, but I kind of do this on the fly. So if you have any other questions, like I always say, I'd be happy to help. So as of right now, me and my girl Pina, oh man, this lighting is horrible here. My girl Pina Colada there, we're gonna be going back to work. Never mind. Sorry, Pina. And like I said, thanks for watching, guys. Next Saturday, I will be in Tampa Repticon, so the live stream is not going to be at 4 p.m. Maybe I'll do a little one and then do another one at the hotel. So if you don't see my live stream, that's why. Yeah, thanks for watching. Peace out, man. Thanks for watching. Thanks for watching. Thanks for watching. Love you guys. Thank you so much. Bye.